I'm Brad from MotionWorks Media. And today I want to talk about the topic of, is AI applicable for employer branding and how do you use it? So it's a pretty tough question. Obviously, everyone's talking about AI. ChatGPT has come out with a lot of really good applications that are using AI. However, there are a lot of limitations, I think, and AI has a long way to go before it's really working synonymously with humans, to be honest. And, today I just kind of wanted to give you an example of, definitely what's possible, but also the limitations of some of the stuff that has come out. So again, a lot of the stuff that I'm using here is ChatGPT 4.0, the paid version, and you get a lot of the plugins and apps that you can use. I mean, they have tons of apps, right? But they're all very specific for different purposes, right? And the ones that I found that are linked to, that could be used for employer branding or recruitment marketing or those kind of things, is DALL-E, right? And DALL-E is the proprietary license under ChatGPT that generates images from keywords that you type in or the prompts that you type in. Now, a lot of times just for, amusing purposes, it's just fun to kind of understand how it thinks, right? So the hard part with using any component of AI, I think, is understanding how it thinks and what's going to come up when you prompt, when you enter the prompt, right? There's tons of information out there on how to build really good prompts. But again, even if you have a really good prompt, it's still going to be limited on what it's going to pull up for you, right? And again, I do want to show that I do think there are really good components. For example, we've even used some AI illustrations through here to just highlight a post, right? So you want to talk about something, but you can't really find a good image. There's a lot of good stock image out there, but sometimes it's really hard to find the right stock image. So you might rely on ChatGPT and the AI and DALL-E to kind of pull that image for you, right? And that's really what AI is good for. So here's a case in point, right? So I typed in a keyword of, I wanted to say, okay, create an image of a fun working place where you can be yourself, right? And, this is kind of what came up, right? So it's too general to give a really good prompt, but it's going to pull up what they think is a fun working place where you can have the freedom to be yourself, right? So according to AI and DALL-E, these are the two images that it pulled up. Now, I think one critical flaw with a lot of the AI and this DALL-E application in particular is that it tries to spell some of the things you're trying to give it as a prompt, right? So for example, I put fun in, I spelled fun correctly, but here it comes up as we make fub, right? So it's having trouble spelling images, right? So these are just kind of things you need to be careful of when you're generating an image, right? And you need to check the spelling. So another thing that it does is it's not really politically correct. So again, one of the prompts I put in was, create an image of a happy candidate interviewing in an engaging company interview. And these are the two images that came up. Not great, pretty basic, pretty bland. But what I did find is that it's very male-centric. And it tends to always come up and pull up interviews in this office environment from a high-rise building, right? So there's always a window component. There's always an outside cityscape view. And it tends to be male heavy, right? Again, problems with AI. Another one that I put in is like, okay, let's try to create a scene of an IT desktop support engineer working on an issue for a client on site. Make it show how the engineer is offering support. And again, it says here are two images showcasing an IT desktop support engineer working on an issue for a client on site. They capture the essence of the support being offered in a professional setting, right? Now, I'm not an IT desktop support engineer, but I don't think I would take apart a PC on somebody's desk. However, DALL-E thinks that that is a good way to show that they are offering support. Again, things to think about when you're creating some of these things. And the last one I typed in, I tried to have fun with this one, is, you can even talk back to it and say, okay, nice work, but please show them supporting with a software issue and make the IT engineer a female. Okay, so now they've created two images and they're getting closer, but again, very funny. So now here is the IT desktop support engineer who is a female. And apparently there's a male with a ponytail or what looks like a horse tail hanging out of the back of their head. So it's a bit strange on why they created that. The one on the right looks a little more appealing. However, the woman looks quite angry at the person, which is probably true as an IT desktop support engineer. However, yeah, you might not want to depict that type of scene. So these are the type of things that are coming up when using DALL-E. I do think it's a really good tool. I do think you can pull up a lot of good content in there, but there are a lot of limitations when you're trying to do that. And you have to be very specific on your prompts. So in this one, I asked, the prompt was create an image of a new recruiter closing their first placement. It's a very brief prompt, but I thought, what the heck, let's see what comes up. And these are the two images that come up. And again, contextually, it's interesting. The picture on the right looks like everyone in the background is celebrating, but this guy who made this new recruiter at his desk is sitting there by himself, right? Reading some document by himself. It's a bit awkward. Whereas on the right, it looks more appropriate, right? They're congratulating this person. Again, very male dominant centric. That's one issue of that. And again, they attempted to spell first playment. Good try. First seems to be spelled correctly, but playment is not a word, at least not one that I know of. So again, these are some of the limitations right now with DALL-E, but I do think they will improve over time. So, a good idea is to, give it a thumbs down and tell it that it's not really hitting the mark, right? So, hopefully over time, it will get a little smarter and a little better, and hopefully a little more politically correct as well. Key thing with using AI is, look, it's a great tool. A lot of things work well. The images and the video side of it, it really struggles. I'm going to do another component on another video AI plugin that is also very good, but it has its limitations. So don't be afraid to use AI. Play around with it, see what's possible. A lot of these things I think are good for job postings, to put some kind of spin on it. So one precaution you need to think about is, if you've looked at all of these pictures, right, they have the same look and feel, right? So you do actually have to tell the prompt what type of tone or mood you want to set in it, right? And it will give you different color combinations and those kind of things. So I do think that technology is quite good, but you do have to be careful on what type of setting it pulls up, as well as the spelling and images. I'm keen to get anyone's insight on their AI journey and what they've used, particularly for employer branding and recruitment marketing. But in general, yeah, share us your details. We're more than happy to help design prompts. Like, give us a prompt or give us a project that you want us to find, and we'll try and create it or recreate it with AI and see how it comes out. Again, a lot of work to do on the AI, but again, don't be afraid to dive into it and use it. I do think it can be a good tool to help with employer branding as well as recruitment marketing. So good luck, and feel free to make comments or share your details of how you're using AI in your recruitment or employer branding journey.